Welcome to Varosha, the Seaside district of Famagusta, Cyprus. In the 1960s and early 70s, it even eclipsed Ibiza, 1.6 kilometers of luxury hotels, high-rise condos, and designer boutiques. It was like a huge tourist spot. It was like the biggest tourist spot maybe in the world at the time. Maybe not like that big, but it was pretty big. But Cyprus sat on a geopolitical fault line and had two different ethnicities or groups, not even ethnicities really, two different nationalities within the country. A Greek majority and then a Turkish minority. And Turkey and Greece were both very involved with their individuals that were living in Cyprus. Or more importantly, Varosha. On the 15th of July, 1974, a Greek-backed coup tried to annex the island completely to Greece. 5 days later, Turkey launched a military intervention, and they, of course said, well, we're protecting the Turkish minority that is in Varosha. Famagusta's residents, which was 40,000 people, were evacuated overnight. They expected to return, but that never happened. Instead, the Turkish forces completely sealed off Varosha behind barbed wire and said it's a military zone, saying no one can come there anymore, no tourists, not people that live there. The only people allowed there were the people that are currently living there and the Turkish military. And that caused time to basically stop within this city. Hotels that were, once bustling, thousands of people coming to be tourists there, are now just untouched. No workers, no tourists, no anyone. It was just empty. Then, eventually in 1984, a UN resolution demanded Varosha to be handed back, well, not back, handed to UN administration, and then they allowed it to be resettled, but can only be resettled by its original inhabitants. So that's not very many people returned. Because why would you want to return somewhere where you were evacuated from and forced out of if it's still under the same control of the people that originally had you evacuate? Why would you go back there? It doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's like 500 people living there now. Not very many. Definitely not the 40,000 that was at one point. And I don't think tourists may recently be allowed, but very limited amounts. It's still a military zone, which is very strange. But anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and walk around this area and Google Street View. I wish I could be there in real life because this place seems awesome. It looks awesome. And it's just an interesting history of an area. So I really wish I could go there. But no one can go there. And I extra can't go there because I'm broke. But anyway, let's go through Google Images and let me react and let you guys react to this awesome piece of history and this old tourist. Look at Varosha today. And as you can see, it's here on the map right next to Syria, Lebanon, Turkey, with Greece all the way over here. And I'll be honest, this is not the dream location where you want to be located geographically. Next to Israel, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Egypt. I mean, Egypt's probably not that bad, but still. And then Greece over here. This is not the peak positioning of where you want your empire to be. Anyway, let's get into closer here where Varosha actually is. As you can see, Cyprus is kind of split up a lot. A lot of people claim territory over Cyprus. It's a very complex area that I am not fully qualified to delve into, but I am delving into it anyway because I don't care. Qualifications be damned. This Varosha where we're going in here, right here. This is the old resort area. This used to be a super popular resort until it was militarily taken over completely by Turkey. And since it's been taken over, it really hasn't had many tourists. I do believe they're letting in very few now. And there are a few hundred people that actually live in the city. So when we're going through this street view, you will see some people living here. There are some open businesses in the area, but you'll see why it's abandoned, earns the abandoned title fairly soon here. So I believe this red mark, no, maybe not the red mark. Let's go to street view. All right, let's start looking around. This is a really annoying street view because of the buses in our way. It's really, really, really annoying. But yeah. So this, as you can immediately see, does not appear much like a seaside resort. This is obviously an abandoned area, so even though it is populated by a certain small group of people, most of it is not. It's actually very depressing to think about. I'll try to pull up some pictures here and throw them in, what it looked like in its peak era in the 1970s. But it was far different from this, which is a complete travesty. Well, this is a cool little building right here. Look at this architecture. Very strange. But yeah, this place used to be popular, one of the most popular tourist spots in the entire world. And now it's essentially completely abandoned. Look at these buildings, they're gone. Like, there's just no one here. It's a ghost town. It's a literal ghost town. Look at this. A crane over here. I wonder if it's actually working on something new, or if it's literally been there for decades doing nothing. That's an interesting question. Maybe we can work our way over to it. As you can see, there's more abandoned hotels. Abandoned hotels out of the wazoo. These were all hotel housing. This was all for tourists. This entire area was. And as you can tell, there's not been any tourists recently. It's been completely empty. Yes, there's a great view of the beach. Oh, right over here is the beach. Wait, no, wrong side. Right over here is the beach somewhere. Can't see it, obviously, because the gates that are up everywhere, which is unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. As you can see, this place is absolutely trash. And I'm not going to comment too much on political issues because I'm an idiot, but Turkish people and Greek people have had a history of not getting along. And if there's any Turkish people or Greek people in the comments, let me know about that in the comments below, what you think about it. Because I'm an American guy. I've never traveled outside my country, but when you go on them Instagram comments and Instagram reels, and there's a Turkish guy and Greek guy in there, there is usually some hands being thrown. That's for sure. But yeah, about 400 or 500 people actually returned to this territory after they were evacuated. So it sent a city with over a 40,000 people population down to just 500. And then with probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of tourists per year. I believe it was at their peak was actually like 700 something thousand tourists in 1 year. It went from 700,000 tourists to none. And that makes all these hotels completely pointless and worthless. And obviously throughout the year, not at once. But here's some people actually driving cars. There is some signs of life in this city. Interestingly enough, we got to see some of that. Actually, while I was going through the city earlier, I actually got a street view. I saw some people walking. A group of 3, which is very interesting. Look how nice these hotels must have been. I mean, I don't want to go too far ahead here. There we go. Like, these are balconies out here. I'm assuming this is a hotel. Actually, I don't know what the hell this is. It has to be a hotel building. What are these rooms? Like, what is this? Everything's just been abandoned and stripped down that you can't even tell what's new and what's old. You know, you just don't know anymore. Like, what they originally were to a certain extent. Because how stripped down everything was. As you guys can see, there's the beach over here. You can see very clearly that goes out into the sea. You know, very far away. We don't get any too close shots of, unfortunately. I'm trying to make my way closer to the beach for you guys, but we're not doing a great job here. On Google Maps, they actually claim that there is an open hotel right in this area. And let's look around here. And do you guys see a hotel that looks like it's still operational anywhere in this area? Do you guys see anything that looks operational? Maybe this one right here, possibly. Can't be this. Surely not. I don't think it has windows anymore. Oh, here's the people I was talking about. People! We found people! Let's zoom in. I thought Google was supposed to blur these people's faces. Oh, they're wearing a Trump hat right here. That's a joke, obviously. I mean, I wouldn't imagine they're wearing one. I can't tell the race of these people. I'm not going to try to tell. That guy is kind of ripped up. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Look at his pecs, dude. Oh my gosh. What a guy. What a guy. Absolutely ripped, dude. W-mans. Looks like he has a bag. Some groceries in it, maybe. But look how major these roads are. Look how well paved they are. Well, they're not upkept. Look how well paved they are, like originally. Look how they have a whole bike lane. They have 2 lanes here. This place is no traffic. There's no bikers. Like, come on now. Like, what do we do? Oh, wait! There are bikers! There are bikers! I lied! There needs to be a bike lane. There needs to be a bike lane, clearly. Also, holy shit, look at these absolutely dilapidated buildings. I mean, this is just the progress of like 50 years of unuse. It's not even like, this isn't like 100 years old. This is 50 years of unuse, and look what's been reduced to, you know? Also, this is probably the working hotel right here, the one that's open. Because while it does look fairly not a hotel I would book, it does actually have windows, which is more than most of the buildings here have. Yeah. Let's keep on going through the city. But yeah, there was the Turkish military held complete control of this zone for quite a while. It's not a very big zone. We can actually go back. Let's go back to this over here. As you can see, it's a very... That's not what I wanted. As you can see, it's a very small part of Cyprus. A very small part. Just this zone right here. I'm about to say exclusion zone. It's not an exclusion zone. But a small zone right here. And it was held and locked down by the military by Turkey because of an uprising where the Greeks tried to overtake the area and historically, well, not historically, but in a land area now owned by Turkey. The Greeks tried to take it over, and then they made it into a military area. I don't understand why they held it for so long, why it's been so hard to get into it, and why people still can't live there. It's very strange to me. They only allow people to resettle there that lived there originally. Obviously, not many of those people chose to return. Not many of those families would choose to return after what? I think they let them resettle in 2007 or something like that. So nearly 30 years after everything happened. You obviously aren't coming back, you know. Like, why would you come back? Your family moved on. You have a new house, new life. You're not returning to the city that you once populated in. But yeah, so it's a very interesting situation, and it's one that still doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are these buildings just here for no reason? This actually looks like a building that was fairly well kept. Obviously, it looks abandoned, but like, I mean, the bricks are beautiful. This is a nice looking hotel. I would stay in this hotel if the balconies weren't literally eroded away. Okay, maybe I take back what I said. Maybe it doesn't look so nice. But yeah, this is a non-stop empty building after empty building. Like, everything's just empty. Isn't this insane to me? There's a whole city here. 40,000 people live here. 40,000 people lived here with a booming tourist economy. Now it's almost essentially completely empty. 500 people. There's a waffle stand though, which is surprising. Hey, it's just insane. Like, every building you see is dilapidated and looks abandoned or is abandoned. Like, look at all this right here. 500 people live in this city right now. Well, probably more than 500 since, you know, stats came out. But look at this. For all of these buildings, all this infrastructure for nothing. Like, this is all pointless. This is all, there's no meaning here anymore. We're actually getting into some of the nicer looking houses here. These might be lived in. To be honest with you, these are kind of nice looking. I'll be a buck with you. These are not lived in. That's not lived in. You see these signs everywhere in front of buildings. I believe there's signs saying "Do not enter private property," I imagine, or "Do not enter, you know, it's unsafe building area." I'm not 100% sure what these signs say. I don't speak the correct language to know. But yeah, so this actually looks like a fairly nice building we're coming up on here to the right. This looks like this is the more lived in portion of the city, right? These buildings aren't like, I wouldn't go as far as to say like super nice buildings or anything, but these are all definitely livable in, and you know, like this especially this building up here, that are definitely usable. You know, if there was a comeback, this would be where it's at for the people. But yeah, it's just honestly a very sad situation that, you know, what was it? Almost 40,000 people evacuated and left. And it was just, you know, ran by the military for so long. People lost their livelihoods, their homes, and it's just a really unfortunate thing. I'm not going to blame anyone politically, because that's just not what I do on this channel. But, you know, I think maybe, we're going back where we came from, by the way, but I think maybe making it like a militarized zone for nearly 40 years without letting new people come to move in, and still not letting new people come to move in, is maybe a poor decision. But that's also a decision made by Turkey and the UN. It's just not Turkey that made the decision. It was actually the UN's idea to resettle the land without allowing any new people to come live there, which is in my opinion, interesting choice. Maybe not the best choice, but it's whatever. This is actually some traffic right here. So this place is popping. It appears like maybe over here is where it's a little bit more lived in, but for some reason we don't take that path, so we can't actually see the nicer part of the city, which sucks. You know, let's go ahead and move back down to where we were. All the way down here, so we can actually continue to see our view of the city here. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this area, and you know, I would definitely visit this place. This seems like an awesome place to visit if I was allowed. If I was told I could go here and film, I absolutely would. If I had money too, it'd be amazing. That guy's got a scooter even. That's a pretty cool scooter. Like, look at this building. I bet this was like $1 million home like 50 years ago. Look how beautiful this building is. This is the architecture of this building, the windows, how it's set up, like the little gateway in front of it, the stairs. I mean, this looks like an amazing house right here. I would love to live in this house if it was, you know, not dilapidated. I was saying earlier, this appears to me the nicer area of the city that might be a little bit more lived in down here. A couple roundabouts, a lot of roundabouts, some people walking around, more people here than we saw before, obviously, you know. As you can see, we're definitely getting to a little pretty area of the city. I mean, look at this. This is another. These buildings look so amazing. It just completely lost all value and all uniqueness because this place is absolutely trashed. I mean, it's just abandoned. It's not even trashed. It's just literally abandoned. There's so many, like, look at this architecture. This would be one of the most beautiful buildings, like, in the world. It looks like, you know, Italy. Italy's a beautiful country with beautiful architecture, and this is what this should look like, but it doesn't. Here's the beach right here. We actually got a beach view, which it actually looks like it's doing fairly well. I think they, like, as I said, they had allowed tourists back to a certain extent. Not very many, because this is still an incredibly empty beach. Look at this beach. Look how empty it is for how nice it is. Like, there's barely anyone here. Like, maybe, would we say there's 100 people here? Maybe that's pushing it as well. For such a nice, beautiful beach on a nice, beautiful day. I mean, how many of those people are locals, too, and how many would be out of town, I wonder? Is another question I have. There's a crane over here. I'm interested to see what this crane could possibly be doing. Are we getting... This is just like an abandoned pavement here. Looks like I got restrooms over here. I wonder if they're even functional. That'd be interesting to know if those restrooms are functional. This looks like this might still be in use, this hotel. It looks fairly pretty. Let's catch up to these bikers. Seems like biking's is this over? No, we lost our camera. Looks like they were probably told to stop filming because they were getting more in the populated areas. I imagine that's probably why. But yeah, here's the city. We went through pretty much the whole area. Let's go back and enjoy the beautiful beach view. Let me know what you guys think of this area in the comments below. It's just very sad to see somewhere with so much promise that was so beautiful. Look at this. Look at all this. Look at that coastline covered in hotels, covered in shops, covered in like people's families, people's history. That's just been completely abandoned for the most part and now is extremely dilapidated. It's sad. This is quite literally one of the happiest places on earth where you go on vacation, where you go in your free time. One of the best places, you know, to live right next to the ocean, beautiful ocean. And because of, you know, what happened in the 70s, it has now been turned into almost dystopian appearing, you know. It's very dark, it's very dreary, buildings are destroyed. Not destroyed, but worse than destroyed maybe. They're abandoned and they're dilapidating. There's strict rules in the area and people didn't come back where their history is. You know, people left this area, they went to mainland Greece, or they went to Greece-owned Cyprus. They left this area, and you know, it's very depressing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed exploring the city with me. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. I hope to someday get this channel big enough to where I can actually go visit places, and that would be awesome. But right now, you know, we're obviously just doing a street view. But yeah, comment what you guys think, and comment what area you want me to do next. Peace out, stay blessed. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at Varosha with me. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Oop, there we go.